Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to us. Sitting.
God.
I'm so jealous you're in your pajamas.
I've never been happier. I'm in my sleeping bra.
Oh my God! And
I'm ready.
And you put on a house coat. You put on a little bathrobe.
It's a robe.
Because people are put on just so that because you had people over.
I had guests coming over.
Going to put on a little bathrobe. It's nice. So I just this is a week. This will come out a week later, and yet it is moments later. From the Michelle Wolf thing. Do you want to get right into it?
Oh my God. I'm so triggered on every level. I can't take it.
On every level?
Every level.
Okay.
The response to, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
There's a couple jokes I was like, I wouldn't have done that joke. But
Guess
you know
what?
That's going to happen across the board.
Colbert's set was that. I got a call today from a woman comic who we both know saying, I can't defend every one of Michelle Wolf's jokes. I don't know what to do. And I was like, can you defend every what's happening?
Yeah.
Why don't you try and defend that year that they had Rich Little do it?
Well, she's basically doing a 20-minute set for the first time ever in front of 50 bajillion people.
On a podium.
Right. It's if you just look at it as a comics and a performance space, it's horrific.
Yes.
The audience is lit. They're
so
all
lit.
dressed up. No one's comfortable. They're all uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Women are in heels. They're
Guys have
on
ties
camera.
on.
Yes,
Yeah.
they know they're being watched, and every laugh, if they laugh at a joke, that it's possible you could be filmed laughing at it and then criticized for laughing at it.
Right.
That's your fucking audience.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's awful. And then she's doing a basically 20-minute set that I'm sure she tried parts of it different places and stuff, but you can't really do too much of it because people start tweeting your jokes at it if they're in the audience,
Oh,
know?
right. Especially New York, where you're doing if she did 6 sets on a weekend,
Right. And there's
it would
such
be comedy nerds. And
such
it would
a
be,
specific style of joke, and you have to know who she's talking about. That most of the regular audiences aren't going to laugh. It's a set that's for the home audience who are people who know who all these people
are watching
Kellyanne Conway,
C-SPAN.
right? Watching C-SPAN. It's not for the people that are in the room,
right?
And it was very much like Colbert's set. Where, although I thought hers got more laughs, like she started with some like really kind of solid middle of the road jokes, and then she started getting really specific,
super specific.
She's like turning the heat, like boiling a frog, right? Turning up the heat slowly. But they don't. They noticed. So I thought it was a great set, and
it was. So do you think she got more laughs than Colbert?
I think so, yeah.
Well, he does a little bit more mugging than she did.
I haven't watched his in a while, but also the president was there. He had more targets there squirming in their seats.
Yeah.
She didn't. She only had Huckabee, and Kellyanne Conway was in the audience, but most of they just didn't show up. They're fucking pussies. What?
Chris Christie eating that cake.
Oh my God,
it was pretty. It must have been a gold banner.
Oh my God, I bet they had 15 cameramen on Christie's fork, and when it goes up, there was like a red alert to all the news stations.
Right.
Yeah.
It was but there were at least 6 seriously great jokes in that set, and to do a set for the first time ever to have 6 great jokes. And I can't even. I mean, I'm just picking that number at random.
Yeah,
because I read I watched it.
Yeah,
and then I read the transcript of it.
Yeah,
which I appreciated the Washington Post doing.
Yeah.
And I will be calling
Aunt Coulter.
Yeah, I'm going to be using the Aunt Coulter for sure for Uncle Tom white women.
Well, and the other thing is our main target. The highest level staffer there was Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Yep. She's very high level, and she was the only one on the day. She's the only one that showed up from that that weak administration that can't even be joked at.
Right, and this is the second year in a row he didn't show.
Right,
every other president has come except for Ronald Reagan.
And they do a set.
Right, and they get to do a set.
Conan had to follow Barack Obama.
Did he?
Yes. And Barack Obama killed. I mean, it's just so different now.
Yeah.
And so we had this very unique woman on woman melee.
Where is what people have turned it into. Yes.
But it really wasn't. And a male comic couldn't have done what she did to Sarah Sanders because it would have seemed too. Now people are like, oh, it seems mean. It was perfect.
Yeah.
And if you just look at how you and I are on stage, or any female comic, if we have a female heckler in the audience, after we, let that person ruin the show a little bit, we can destroy her because we're women.
Right.
And if a guy tries to do that, he either goes too far or he doesn't go far enough. But guys can't do it. It's a harder task. A woman heckler, I have always said this, is that women hecklers are the hardest. Even for other women comics, right? Just
because
it takes a little skill. You have to wait
because the audience for some reason is still on the side of the woman heckler, and you're like, why?
But she her jokes about Sarah were great, and they were about who Sarah was as a person, which is all things that you can change about yourself, which she decides not to.
It wasn't anything about her. It wasn't anything about her looks. It wasn't even anything about her politics. It was entirely about her actions.
Right.
And that's where the truth came from. The truth came from that. And then the jokes, some of them were great. Some of them were just okay. Sometimes it was just a truth.
Yeah.
That made you go, holy shit,
I know.
said
Some
that.
of them are novels. I was like, I thought the smoky eyeshadow joke should have been in a novel. Because it wasn't really a joke, like a ha-ha joke. It was like a whoa.
It was you called it.
Yes.
She said, you're made of lies.
Yeah.
And I would say lies.
Yeah.
And
but those are jokes with receipts because you can prove that they were all verified by this person's behavior.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
And so it has weight in that way. And 52% of white women voted for Donald Trump. And you and I are just like, what? How the fuck does that happen?
Yeah.
And we saw it in the response to Michelle Wolf's jokes about Sarah Huckabee Sanders. You had Mika Brzezinski saying, how could you, she's a wife and a mother. Like she brought that. That's why we're not supposed to make a joke about Sarah. How a wife and a mother fucking defends Donald Trump.
Yeah, how about her job blows? And she does she's the mouth of fucking Sauron. And it's not, which is the Lord of the Rings reference.
Yes.
Anyway, so, you can't, I'm going to make fun of anybody with that job. If my job is to write those jokes,
it's the way she does it. She constantly is lying when people ask her a question and saying, "Next, I'll get it back to you,"
right?
And get back to you, and she doesn't, or whatever. But so that was so fascinating. And Maggie Haberman, and there's some other journalists, Andrea Mitchell, who's fucking married to Alan Greenspan, who fucking tanked the economy, right? Like, how could she? Like, these people hang out together too much, and I understand journalists. The only reason they can write like 50% of their stories or more is because they have a source, they have a leak inside that will talk to them. Maybe Andy Lassner from Ellen. This is so crazy. So the Ellen executive producer said, but he said, "Oh, it sounds like
she's the leak."
Yeah, she's the source. They're protecting her so hard, she must be the source.
Yeah.
But it's just it was all so incestuous and so
more so than usual.
Yeah, yes, and
because it is an incestuous gathering of people, and so
it's always been gross that they've been hanging out together. I remember, I don't know if it was at the White House Correspondents' Theater, but seeing David Gregory, who was, I think, host of Meet the Press at the time, dancing while Karl Rove rapped was the most. I almost vomited. That happened during the Iraq War.
Right.
It was just way too cozy.
Yeah.
And his wife worked for Goldman Sachs.
Right.
They're all connected.
Right.
They all just move. They're moving parts. They are a lobbyist one year, and then they work for the bank the next year, and they all move together. But I forgot the point I was going to make.
Except for that, you're so excited that you have like at least three more topics.
But
it's
also
great.
like they made fun of her looks. Maggie Haberman. Yeah, you write for a living, Maggie Haberman. You put words together, so you know how specific. The wording of that joke was very specific, and it did not go after her looks. It said.
Did you know that smoky eyes is actually a compliment? I did not know that was a compliment.
I don't know if it's a compliment. I don't know, but
I don't know a lot.
It was
about
like
makeup.
perfect application. Whatever but it was written very specifically, and people, I guess they thought she said fat instead of facts. But that became a thing where
the only reason I saw this tweet was that the only reason they thought that that people were making fun of her looks was because she is not what they think is good looking. All of those men and women.
It's like, you make fun of her looks all the time when she's not around, so of course you assume everyone else is.
Yes. But no one else, but like, especially not a woman comic isn't going to do that. I mean, not every. I mean,
I would totally, and I would go after Kellyanne Conway's face. So please have me there. I will deserve all the shit that you want to give Michelle Wolf.
You will eviscerate their looks.
Yes,
you'll
I say
make fun of their height.
You use every club in your golf bag and attack. Yes, you have to win. But she won clean. She didn't win dirty. She won clean.
Yeah.
And so now tonight, the White House Correspondents Association sent a letter to its members apologizing for her act, and they've never done that with anyone else before.
Do you know why? Because it was a woman, and even with Wanda Sykes, but it's because it's a woman dealing with our crazy white supremacist president, and
I think it's because I think they felt more comfortable doing it because she's white. I think if Wanda had done those exact jokes, I don't think they would have, because they're afraid of looking racist. But I don't think they're afraid of looking anything when it's a white woman. I think they came down, the White House Correspondents', I think they came down harder because she looks like my sister. It's a mostly white organization. It's white on white
crime.
So
it's white on white.
No, because it's white people that are complaining about it, and
right.
I think they feel comfortable going after a white woman in a way they wouldn't going after
anyone,
a black
person
female
of color.
comic. Okay, so she's, it's weird. I read this thread about white supremacy that was very interesting, and it was like, we all think, how could these people stay with Trump when he's so gross, and how did they stay with him? And the thread was like, because they wanted to say, we'd rather have the worst, most incompetent male than after Barack Obama,
right?
Which I was like, okay, I mean, that makes sense, but they could have replaced Barack Obama in 2012, and I think it's part of Trump's rise is a reaction to a successful 8 years of Obama,
mm-hmm.
but a lot of it is we'd rather have this fucking piece of shit than the most competent woman on earth, which is
right.
Hillary Clinton at that point to be president,
right?
And I feel like that sort of anger at women who talk and women who talk back, and it's when it's a white woman, you don't have to worry about being accused of being racist.
You can just call her a bitch.
You can go right in, and I think that's part of what's happening. Part of the response to Michelle is, I think there's a little more breathing room to go after her than if she was a person of color,
right? Well, yeah. It's such a, I mean, I thought the set was amazing, but
mm-hmm.
it was what I thought was amazing about the set was what you said initially, was that it was clearly, if not the first time she had done that set or some of those jokes, one of the first 3 times she had done those jokes.
Right.
And it was, and again, it's like, it's one of the bravest things in the world. That thing about her being 32 years old.
Oh my God, that was great.
It's a great joke. It's about Roy Moore and all that stuff. And so,
that's a joke where I think she could have lost the first part of it, where she said, I'm too young to host this thing, but I'm 20 years too old,
right? But
or whatever.
How long? If you're 30,
like I would have. I'm like, you could have lost it when it just gone right to Roy Moore,
right? But I know that the comic who called me today to say I can't defend everything, and I said, she's 32. How long has she been doing stand-up comedy?
Right.
I mean, the woman who called me has been doing stand-up comedy for 25 years.
Yeah.
And so there's no reason for her to have nailed. I don't.
No way.
I would have tried. I would have accepted the gig. I'm not saying I wouldn't have taken the gig.
Well, that's what I do think, we've said, this generation of female comics, they just got really good really fast.
Yeah.
She's a great example of that.
She really is. I mean, she is clearly a really good comic. And
yeah,
I just did Fresno with Maria, and she had just been there.
Yeah.
And the whole staff of this theater were like, she was amazing.
Wow.
She just...
Yeah.
And I haven't seen her Netflix because I haven't seen anybody's.
It's HBO. Yeah.
Is it HBO?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got my... I figured out how to put my HBO Two Dope Queens set up.
Oh,
so that I can
cool.
send it out to bookers. It's just for production, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just for work, rather.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not,
yeah.
I'm not. I don't even understand why they wouldn't want me to show it, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. What was I gonna
You're
say?
still on it. Do it. Do it.
Fuck! I lost it.
Did
It'll
you?
Come back
I'm so
to me.
sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, here's what happened at that club that I told you before we started.
Yes.
There was a couple of dinosaurs.
Right.
That's it's just dinosaurs sitting around, and one of them.
You know, there's a podcast that's talking about us and calling us dinosaurs, and they write our names down.
Probably a couple of middle-aged white guys. I hope so. I can only hope so. They're like writing down. Laurie Kilmartin said, "Jackie Cation." Oh my God. So
these dinos, yes.
See these dinos. One of them was sitting around, and he's an old-timey exec, late-night exec. And he said that he on purpose did not write.
Oh, right.
Did not hire women because either he would want to sleep with them, or they would want to sleep with him, and then they'd ruin his life. And the three comics.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And first of all, one of them goes, first of all, you know that's illegal. You can't not hire someone because you want to have sex with them or
my
don't want to have
God.
sex with them. And
That's a major show that you and
Yeah.
I didn't do.
oh no, I know. And so those are the three comics that he was talking in front
Oh
of.
shit.
And
That's
they put him through the ringer.
good.
And they said, they were like, he got super sad. And then he said, you're twisting my words. And they're like, no, you just said you wouldn't hire a woman because you would want to have sex with her. It's like, all men would just want to have sex with her. And that's why it's hard to work with. I would never hire a woman assistant. Because
Oh my
then she would want to have
God.
sex with me, and then my life would be ruined. And then they're like, he said, no, but you're taking it wrong. I'm not sexist.
These are people that are in charge of hiring female writers.
Yes. And so they were like, well, do you mean that do you think I've never gotten hired? Because the things are like, well, it probably wasn't sexism. And he's like, what did you just say you wouldn't hire a woman because of that is sexism? And he's like, I'm not sexist.
Oh my God.
And they said he got super sad, and they were like, insert the word black. Insert the
Right,
word Mexican.
right.
Insert anything. A paraplegic or a guy in a wheelchair. Anything where the law is much more clear than a woman.
And also, society is much more clear. Anytime you put in a race instead of woman, you're like, oh yeah, that's totally racism.
Right.
Well, if it's racism, it's also sexism.
Right. And he could not hear it. Which is just, it's one of the most amazing.
God.
I mean, every day when I learn of some new horror that middle-aged white ladies are doing, or white people are doing in general, I'm like, I don't want to learn this, but I'm willing to. Because I also don't have to fucking live through it.
How
know?
many female writers did not get hired on that staff? And that bleeds over into the female comics they have on the show as well.
Right. Because why would you hire? And then this guy was also there backing him up. I can't remember who that is.
Oh, yeah. No,
They're both-
neither can the industry.
I was just like, one of them's a raptor, and the other one, is
Oh
that
my
tall,
God.
slow one that eats leaves. Anyway, but it was
oh my fucking God.
right. It's just
But
completely.
here's the thing, like, so like Michelle has gotten what she's gotten at 32. When
Yep.
you and I were 32, this guy was not putting us on shows.
Right, because he was 42, and he was in charge of hiring and firing and encouraging and not encouraging, and entirely wrong. And it was so brutal. I was like, I don't even know how to. And so I
I don't want to ever see him again.
Well, I got the text. I got a call from one of those comics, and so I texted a different one of those comics, and she was like, and she said that thing that I'm sick of hearing. I'm sick of saying it, and I say it. I'm sick of hearing it, which is, he's a nice enough guy. He just does it. He's just a symptom of the problem. I was like, he's not a symptom. He is the problem
now, but he had real power before.
Right. And he was actually the problem.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. He was not a symptom of anything. He was
Jesus.
actually the problem. And so it was completely okay. In happier news,
Yes.
I did my set in Fresno, and my flirting bit hit all the beats.
Yay!
Yep. And there's 2 additional beats that I didn't get to do, but
That's great.
that's fine. If I could and I taped it, so I haven't listened to it yet. But my timing was right. I stuck the landing, all of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I have
honestly.
ruined a joke, and I don't know how. I have old recordings that I can go back and listen to, but I don't know what I did. But it's just like...
It's not working
It's
now?
like it's fallen apart. What happened?
Fuck.
But whatever.
I hate that.
I do too.
Right.
I just feel uncreative,
Yeah.
Not only am I not moving
just
forward,
silence.
I'm going backward on a joke.
Right. And this whole thing, I don't know what to do with the information. I found out that 3 years ago the Chinese stopped that one child family. They were like there was only one kid per family.
Right.
And they started it in 1979, and in 2015 they were like, are we the only people doing
way
this?
too many boys.
Right.
They really do. It's like a horrific problem there.
Right, well, they looked around at the millions and millions of 25-year-old men.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, everybody killed their girl babies.
Yeah.
And so now, and then they were like, well, I guess, and it just means that all of those 25-year-olds are going to be 45 marrying 12-year-olds.
Or no, never marrying. I mean, they're going to. But they've forced these men into having these very sad, horrible lives.
Right. Well, I mean, it just
and women. God forbid you want to be unmarried or lesbian. That's not they're not sticking around for that. 25 guys want to marry you if you're a woman in China.
Yeah,
and you better pick one.
You better pick one,
or
because they only want to marry Chinese women.
They're all incels. I didn't fucking know what that was till last week.
Me neither. It was, but I was in Santa Barbara the week before that shooting.
Elliot Rogers or whatever. Oh my God.
Who cares what his fucking name is?
There's like these rivers of hate.
Involuntary celibacy. That's what it stands for.
But they think we should be raped, and that
right, and they think
we
that
shouldn't wear makeup because we're tricking people and tricking men, and it's this really strange misogyny that I've perhaps only been exposed to when I tweeted about Elliot or Elon Musk. Oh, I bet the Venn diagram of incels and Elon Musk fans, it's just 2 circles on top of each other.
No. I found out why he sent that fucking car into space. Which was a
great promotion.
It was hubris, yes.
Yes.
But here's the other thing: like, he could have sent a pile of bricks that was also the same weight as that Tesla, but he needed to check that the rocket could carry that amount of weight and then land back on it, because the rockets, they're reusable rockets, like space shuttles.
Okay,
and the car is dumb, but he was actually doing something real. And but you know what I'd love him to do? Go and pick up the fucking car, because now it's just trash.
There's space junk just floating around above us.
But yeah, the incels, it's like a self-perpetuating group of dudes who are like, this is involuntary celibacy. I'm like, yeah, I had that, but I didn't have anybody to bitch about it with. It was just, I wasn't getting laid, and I was like, I didn't blame dudes for it.
Well,
I didn't blame. I met my hand more often. I was just like, me and my hand are going to get to know each other real well.
Well, you guys could, they could also just go out with women that are maybe not, or it seems like if we're going to number people, they're 2s trying to land 8s. And they feel like they shouldn't have to date a fellow 2.
Well, I think that's the self. I mean, the thing is I feel like if they fell for someone who was of a sort of comparable, like I don't understand,
normal looking.
just if everyone, yeah, I mean
They're as caught up in what women should look like as women are, you know, or women
or
are.
society,
You know, we're trying to get out of
some
right.
sort of caricature of society.
Yes.
they're in that caricature. They've watched too many romantic comedies, and they think like, do you ever see what's the?
I think they've watched too much porn.
Oh, you think it's porn?
Yeah,
And,
I think that can't help.
do you know the John Cusack movie where he has a record store and
Yes.
two beautiful women?
Yeah.
High Fidelity. I fucking hated that movie so bad because I was like, oh, your sad, sad life with two beautiful women and your own fucking record store. You're living the wet dream of every dude I know in Minneapolis right now.
Yeah, true.
And so, but I mean, I think that they've seen too many of that kind of romantic thing, and then
I
the
don't think
porn.
they've seen romantic things. I think they've seen a lot of violent porn,
Well, I think it led
and
to
they
it.
don't know any real women to offset that. To go, well,
So
okay, that's
weird.
porn. That's for my porn brain. You know, I have like a porn side on my brain, but I know that actual women are a different way.
Yeah. Porn side of your brain.
The other thing, Joy Reid.
Yeah.
Were you following that at all?
I heard that she didn't think that she had written these horrible things, but she clearly must have.
Oh my God. I mean,
And then so she spent 5 minutes going, I was obviously a disaster
So
of a person.
she wrote some stuff that was like homophobic, right?
Right.
And some blogs.
Guy Branum's tweet about that was great. He was like, you want to pretend that everyone wasn't making homophobic jokes in the 80s and 90s?
Up until 2017,
Right.
Yeah.
How about you're lying to yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're all recently woke as a left society, left wing society.
Like literally,
Yeah.
I'm learning every day not to be to do things.
Exactly. And so she, to me, the problem is she didn't just go, wow, I was a bonehead, you know. Like there's lots of material I could just be like, ooh, look,
Right.
look, I was doing the best I could with
Right.
what I knew.
Right. I thought that I was actually being a good sport about this. No?
But she said, "Oh, there's no way I wrote that. I must have been hacked." Which
right.
Which
That
the
she
last
did.
person to try that was Anthony Weiner. Okay, and it's so rare that you're hacked, and usually when you are hacked, they do such a bad job. It's quite obvious. I was actually hacked on Twitter early in Twitter. I was with remember Witstream? It was like they would cultivate somebody from Witstream because I guess my stuff was feeding into their thing. Their timeline hacked my Twitter and just wrote a bunch of stuff. And I hadn't been on Twitter. I wasn't on it that much back then, if you can imagine such a life. And Rob Kuttner, who's another writer at Conan's, like, have you seen your feed recently? It looks really, it was like really filthy and disgusting, and it wasn't me at all. So then I never followed through with this, but because the person who at Witstream, we figured out who it was and we shut it down.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. But then I realized that Joy Reid called the FBI. I'm like, man, I should have called the FBI, but I didn't want to because I felt like they figured it out, and I deleted the tweets, and I liked the lady who runs Witstream, and it was just whatever.
Yeah.
But honestly, hacking.
No, it did not happen.
It's not as
It's super
common
rare.
as,
and
yeah.
I have this to say about Twitter is that there is a fake Jackie Cation account that started up almost immediately when I have my account. And I think there's just one tweet left, but it has my bio for when I first joined Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting there and I'm like, how do I get rid of that? It's just
someone did a Laurie Kilmartin. Someone grabbed that. And
Yeah.
it's called Justice Served. So it's someone who doesn't like me.
I changed my Twitter name today to Thanos isn't entirely incorrect.
Oh my God. You're not even working there. What are you doing? But here's the thing, like, I like Joy Reid a lot. She's really good. There's not many women of color anchoring a show. She does a great job. And it's just
She had to come around.
Dude, why that excuse?
Yeah.
I think, you can just apologize and go, I'm really sorry. I was the fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And, and everyone knows she does good work now.
Right. Well, I mean, there's a learning curve to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's. mean, did you see the Dennis Miller
Oh my
tweet
God.
today about Michelle Wolf?
Yeah, he's an awful person.
He's just an idiot. And I heard this. Oh, I probably shouldn't have mentioned his name. Well, fuck it.
Yeah.
One of a guy that I grew up with is a tech dude.
Yeah.
And he said the last time he worked with him, he was so drunk. It was a year ago in Waukegan.
Oh, yeah.
And he could not do stand-up normal. He had to have a podium. Because he was so drunk going up on stage. So he might have he's done. He might be done. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. I saw him 2 years ago, opening. He just came backstage because I was opening for Brian Regan. It was him and Bo Derek and that guy from Northern Exposure.
What?
Yeah, I was in Santa Barbara.
Oh my God.
It was such a weird showbiz.
Derek.
Bo Derek, who, by the way, looks better today than I've ever looked in my life.
Amazing.
She has bone structure for a million years and has clearly continued to do sit-ups. So, but it was her and that Northern Exposure radio guy who was in my Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Rob. I forget his last name.
Who cares?
Yeah.
And because they're all super conservative.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Yeah, he's conservative. Bo Derek is conservative.
Yeah.
And of course, Dennis Miller has lost his mind. So the three of them came back. And the only person who was nice to me, by the way, was Bo Derek. And I was like, wait, you're Bo Derek. And the previous time I saw Dennis Miller, as I was asked last minute to open for him, I was headlining Catch a Rising Star in Reno at the Silver Lode Legacy.
Yes.
And he was in the downstairs theater, and they had forgotten to book him opener. And I was headlining the upstairs, and they said, hey, you want to make a couple $100 and open for him 15 minutes? And I said, yeah. And my favorite, I might have told you the story, but I was coming off, I did my 15, and we parted ways because I introduced him.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, has Jay seen you? And I said, Jay who? And he goes, Leno. And I was like, no, Jay Leno doesn't know me.
Oh my
and that's fine. I'm sure I'm happy for his motorcycle and vehicle. Good times. I'm headlining Burbank Flappers this weekend.
Oh my God.
Both you and Kyle going to do some guest sets.
I'm going to do a guest set or two.
Carmen Morales is going to feature.
Cool.
And Augie
that's
Smith
a good
is gonna
show.
feature.
And who?
Augie. Carmen can do the Friday shows, and Augie Smith can do the Saturday shows.
That's great.
Those are going to be amazing shows. You guys are welcome to come do guest sets, and we'll talk. We'll split it up.
I was at the Lincoln City, the Undertow Comedy Festival. It was really fun.
Oh, good.
Now, the only thing...
Did you fly into Portland and drive?
I did so much traveling in 24 hours. I was just... so I flew down on Saturday morning, or flew up to Portland.
Right.
And then I had a 2.5 hour drive, basically.
Oh, really?
And it's windy road, so you can't just nod off.
Just super
you have
beautiful.
to pay attention. Quite
Who
beautiful.
Cares? And you're come on.
But then you stay in this giant kind of hotel house.
Okay.
That reminded me of the dollhouse. Yes. But it's
that was gorgeous.
It was
as well.
amazing. It was amazing. But there was a thing where I finished the first set I had. I was up on stage. As soon as I got introduced, I started talking, and I was like, I'm tired.
Oh.
It's bad when you're starting a 15-minute set going, I'm tired.
I'm exhausted,
I didn't realize it till I was...
Oh, shoot.
And the second set, I snapped out of it, and I was okay.
Good.
I felt better. And so then I go back to the hotel, and no one's there. The whole festival's staying at this place, but everyone's still out. And I walk in, and it was unlocked, and there's a mannequin, and it just felt like...
Why are there always mannequins?
I don't know, but it felt
you
like...
had mannequins in Birmingham.
It was so quiet.
Oh, creepy.
And yet all the lights were on, that it felt like if I opened one door, I would just find bodies, And so I was like, I can't stay here. So I went out to a show where comics were performing naked, just so I wouldn't be alone with the mannequins.
Wait, naked?
It's they do,
because it's not hard enough. Oh my God!
You slowly have to take off items of clothing. I was in the audience. I did not participate, and I also positioned myself behind a tall person so I wouldn't see any cock. Because no offense, but
you're good.
not for people I know, not comics
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And I also, I don't like seeing comics I know kiss. I think I've told you this, right? Like
Right,
I
the
have trouble
Rory
watching
Scovel.
Crashing.
Yeah.
I can't see Rory and Amy making out. Like
Right.
I need that edited out before I can watch that movie.
Maybe they'll do that for you on the plane. Wait, did you know any of the comics that were in the Naked Show?
I knew them a little bit. I knew
Okay,
them a
you
little
had met
bit. Yeah.
them.
Yes.
And you're
yes,
like,
yes.
I'd like to know them better. I can't see them naked.
Yes, right.
How about
right.
that?
Yes, yeah. And then Tony Kameen was there and Ron Lynch was there.
Oh,
This
that's
little
neat.
San Francisco reunion. So, we all went back together, and then I felt safer in the house. There's more people there,
Right. It's
But it's right on the coast of Oregon, and so like this morning I went on a walk on the beach, and it's like my kind of beach. It's like an Irish beach. It's cold. You don't want to swim. It's
Rocky?
fucking huge waves, rocky, wood
Yeah.
everywhere. I'm like, yes. I don't want to get your bikinis out of my face and your tans. I want people bundled up walking their dogs. That's what a beach is to
That's
me.
the beach for you.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of that. So Lake Michigan is the beach for me. So giant waves kind of freak me out because there's waves in Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with a little ditty called "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald." Anyway. Gordon Lightfoot was in Fresno the night before Maria was. Anyway, but I can't go to like the ocean. The ocean is hard for me because it looks like I'm going to be sucked out. And
Are you descended from someone who died on the Edmund Fitzgerald?
no, but it was on the Great Lakes. It was.
okay.
It's right there. I don't know if you're. familiar with
Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a great story that was told about the Great Lakes by Gordon Lightfoot in the early 70s. Hey, I bet you it's time to do we can do the comic of the week.
How much have we done? I
There
feel
you
like
go.
we've talked for 4 hours.
Well, comic of the week.
Marlena Rodriguez.
And what's her handle? Marlena.
Yes, and she was at the festival this week, and she opened, and she was really funny for me. Yeah.
GZ. Oh, it's just G Rodriguez GZ. Oh, nice.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, Rodriguez is her Twitter handle. Got it. Rodriguez probably spelled correctly, or
Yes.
fully, or in its entirety.
Yeah, she's very funny.
That's great.
Yeah.
I went to breakfast today in, I believe, Visalia,
Yeah.
and it was a Dukes of Hazzard themed diner. Yeah, my life is a caricature.
That's a Confederate diner. Right?
Yes, it
Yeah.
had Confederate flags all over it, and I was like, "Why have we come here?"
Isn't it strange how the center of California is like Mississippi in 1954?
Yes, and it was Devin Nunes.
Oh yeah, that's his territory.
And Maria and I both meant to call the League of Women Voters and get voting registration at the Fresno, and we both spaced it.
oh dang!
I know it because it was, I don't. Because he has a great chance. He's running against a guy named Andrew Jans, J-A-N-Z.
Yes, yeah.
And Nunez has a good chance of just getting name recognition.
Fuck.
And hopefully, and all of the signs I saw, none of them said that he was a Republican.
Oh really?
Yeah, it just said vote Devin Nunes. And it did not say what.
I hope he doesn't get Hispanic vote just because it's Nunez.
Yeah,
and
that's
they're
what I
not-
was thinking.
Fuck.
There's name recognition.
Well, it says so on the ballot.
Yeah, it'll say it. So, and I wish I had spray paint and I could have just wrote, and also an asshole. And just,
I canceled a set on Friday night.
right, to go to your son's.
Okay, so he sprained his knee somehow. He was playing basketball at
Oh, and
school.
he could have twisted it?
Yeah,
or-
something
okay.
like that. So that was my Friday morning going to the doctor and then the orthopedic surgeon, and he's in a brace, and they have to do an MRI next week. And
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
And
Full on.
it's really annoying. I'm like, that's why we swim. We don't play basketball. Okay, you don't have this kind of bullshit in a pool.
No, that's it. You wouldn't have
don't.
twisted. You wouldn't have twisted anything.
So I had canceled the spot because he had this elementary school fundraiser, and it's like, they have a booths and and music and rides
Right, it was,
and stuff
and
like
you
that.
were going to go to it before
Yeah.
he hurt himself.
Yes, and so he went for like an hour, but he's on crutches, so his arms hurt. So he was
wasn't
done,
fun.
and I was like, I could have done this fucking spot.
I know.
Plenty of time.
Right. Well, we were trying to organize this, and you're like, I got 2 spots. I can't. You want to put the boy to sleep, but you're like to bed. But it was like, I got to do these 2 spots, and I was like, fine. I guess I'll try to pick up another spot. So I did 2 spots as well. And we both did.
What was I thinking today? Well, I don't know.
It's too many. We drove back from Fresno.
Yeah, I have to start planning. Going, hey, how much am I doing in this one day? I'm driving 2 hours after I drove 2 hours. You know, like I'm doing a lot of tiring travel, and I'm beat. I haven't. This next weekend I'm going to be in New York, and I keep getting on planes, and it's like I used to. Like, you know, when I'm home and off the road for 2 weeks in a row, I'm like, get me on a plane, get me out of here. But every single week, you know, I'm tired. I feel burnt.
Yeah, you should, because you've been actually traveling a lot.
Yes,
a lot more than normal.
Yes,
it's and so here's my good thing is that this Burbank week, I think I'm home for 2 weeks, and then I go on vacation with my in-laws. I'm doing Clusterfest in San Francisco.
Right.
And I'm flying from San Francisco to West Yellowstone.
Oh, yeah.
And Andy is going to drive with his moms.
Right.
To West Yellowstone. And I was like, you can't just drive them to Salt Lake, bundle them onto a plane? Because Salt Lake is
well, that's way further than Yellowstone. You've made it less convenient for him.
Well, because it's halfway there. Like, because it's 17 hours from where they live outside of Visalia, outside of Fresno.
To Salt Lake City?
To West Yellowstone.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like...
Oh, I'm thinking Yosemite. Oh, yeah, Yellowstone. Oh,
Yellowstone,
right. Yeah.
In Montana.
Yes.
And so we're going there. It's going to be a week and a half. We're going to figure out how to record this.
Right.
Because... we're going to go look at Yellowstone. We're going to go look at Deadwood. We're going to look at Mount Rushmore and hopefully the Badlands. And it's so funny because his stepmom was like, yeah, I just want to get there before Trump insists on putting his face up there.
Oh, my God.
Fucker. And what I love when his moms swear, because it's not that they don't.
Yeah.
They don't very much, but whatever they do, it's just, I mean, they're so mad. It's pretty great.
Oh, they have every reason to be mad.
Yeah, they do. So, but my flight tomorrow is at a very inconvenient time, and Andy Ashcraft will drive me to LAX, except for when my flight is at 9:40 a.m. on a Monday. He's
I thought it was at 8.
No, I have to leave by 7:30, or 7 maybe, because it'll be an hour and a half on the 405.
Are you going to take an Uber?
I might take a Lyft. I might have him drop me off at the Flyaway, because we live right by the Van Nuys Flyaway.
How much longer is it going to take you to get there?
Well, it's the same amount of time to get there.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be an hour.
I've never done the Flyaway.
It's $8.
So you drive to Van Nuys?
Yeah, so someone should drop you off.
Right.
I mean, whenever
you can't park there?
You can, but you might as well park down at LAX.
Oh, I see.
It used to be. It's a great story.
No, I'm fascinated.
Right? No, I know. But back in '98 when I moved here, or '97, whatever, it was $4. To take the bus from Van Nuys to LAX. So it didn't even make any sense.
Is it stopped? Do they have any stops?
No.
And so you get in the carpool lane or something?
Yeah.
And so it goes pretty fast?
Yeah. It goes pretty fast.
And how many, like every 15 minutes, every hour?
Every half an hour.
Every half hour.
Yeah. And so, but the parking was also $4 a night. Mm-hmm. And so it was almost the cheapest thing in the world.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Turned me onto it. And then...
Is it only out of Van Nuys?
There's one, Union Station. Yeah, the only thing in the valley is Van Nuys.
Wow. There should be more. Is that a city thing or it's not a private thing?
It's gotta be publicly backed.
Money, yeah,
because there's no money in it. But the weird thing is they kept changing how you pay for it. Like initially it was only cash, and then it was only cards, and then it was cash or cards, and now it's back to only cards. And so if you get on the bus at LAX to come back to Van Nuys, the last time I did it, I was in line, and they only take cards. There was a kid in front of me, like 17, 18 years old, and he had $8. And the woman goes, "You can't give me cash. You have to have a credit card." He was like, "I don't have a credit card. I don't even have a debit card. I have $8."
Oh, my God.
And she said, "Well, you're going to have to get someone to buy you a ticket. Or what? He's trapped in the back in the parking lot of the Van Nuys Flyaway. So I bought him a ticket, and it was $8, but all he had was a 10, and I didn't have change. And I was like, "Look at me making money." And but it was so weird.
Wow. Was that his last $10?
Hopefully not. And I mean, he didn't look broke. I mean, I would have just bought
does
it.
he not have a card on just because he doesn't believe in credit cards, or
no? I think he was just a kid who had been given cash, and then like his parents or somebody were picking him up, maybe or something. And it was, I didn't have a problem taking his $10. Was I supposed?
That was pretty ruthless of you.
Well, what do you turn down 10? What am I?
You're right.
Yeah. I'm made of stone over here. Come on, it's $10 is $10. So, yeah, I'm gonna go visit my dad after. I'm flying to Columbus and then Cleveland, and then I added an overnight stop in Milwaukee.
That's good. And how, any new update on your dad?
He's decided supposedly that he's just going to get the big surgery. He doesn't want to wait. He's like, I'm just going to roll the die. I'm either going to live or die.
Wow.
And you're like, all right. I mean, he's been very lucky in his life.
My mom was supposed to go visit my sister on May 11th and 12th and I'm home that weekend. Right. And I was like, I get to be by myself for a weekend.
What happened?
Oh, she changed her mind. Gonna be home with me.
No.
Yep. So she was supposed to leave in
this is like the third time.
December.
Yeah.
And I canceled plans.
Yeah. Why?
Did I tell you she had a real stroke and not like a baby stroke?
Oh, really?
In December? Yeah. So,
oof. Yeah.
I know.
So she's probably just tired.
But the good news is people who have a regular stroke, within a year, they're dead.
No.
Yes, that's what I read on the internet. Part of me, I was horrified and happy at the same time.
Well, so I was just like, yeah. I mean, my dad's like, I'm going to die. And I was like, yeah, well, I was hoping you wouldn't. And he's like, yeah, me too. I was almost certain I wasn't going to. And so, yep.
Yeah.
But he's a little twitchy about it, as you can imagine.
Yeah. So when's he going to do it?
I don't know, but my sister was just there over the weekend, and they always go to eat breakfast at this Greek family restaurant in Milwaukee that serves. She gets a side of fruit, and I swear to God, it looks like Carmen Miranda's hat. Like there's so much fucking fruit. It's like a whole banana, and then like a half a pint. I mean, it's too much fruit, but it's like $3. You're like, stop.
Between that and the flyaway from Burbank, from Van Nuys. My God.
Here's a fun fact in Milwaukee at the Forum, and maybe every diner, I can't remember. You order 1 egg, you get 2 at a breakfast place. So if you order 2 eggs, you get 3.
I think that happens a lot because I've made scrambled eggs for myself, and the 2 scrambled eggs it's a paltry amount, and then you order it at IHOP, and it's like 2 plates.
A million, it's a million eggs, but I'm talking like over easy.
Right.
It's
well,
weird.
I don't care.
Right.
How they're done.
Really, you don't care how they're prepared? Yeah.
Should I really try to get my mom jokes on TV before my mom dies?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you should. Because otherwise you're a monster.
Date.
Yeah, you're a monster.
No, I'm not.
And just gonna let you in on it. And
pretending she's alive when she.
Right. Oh, don't think. I mean,
you can't do jokes about how you want your mom to die when she's dead.
It's weird.
It has to be when she's alive.
Right. You got to change you have to change the context.
No, I don't.
And you better find a funny way to do it. Here's what I was thinking about today, literally with comedy and my father, which is, I wonder if I could still quote him on stuff for the next 15 years anyway.
Yes, of course. Of course.
Because my father would have said. I mean, some of the stuff.
Well, you're telling stories from the past. He said. That's fine.
Yep. It was I was just working on this thing that my stepmother, I think, either I have some memory of her when she stopped ironing sheets. But I don't know how accurate the joke I was trying tonight with those words. But I did the junior high store.
Yeah.
And I did
fun.
the improv.
Yeah.
You were after me.
I got off stage in the main room and they said, Jackie's on in the lab. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to see her tonight. It's fine. I have to run over there. But as soon as I walked in, you just missed her. Hey, guess I walk here without trying to see Jackie Cation. Is that okay?
Oh my God. I was, it was like, I spent, it was such a social day with my in-laws. And then last night at the club, at the theater.
Yeah.
We were talking to a bunch of Fresno comics who had just come to the show. And then my mom's in-law came to the show, Maria's show. And they were psyched. They were like, we could hear her so much better this time. And I was like, did you like the jokes? And they go, yep. And Maria brought Scott on stage to sing one of the songs that they had written together.
Interesting.
And it was fascinating. And but I was socialed out.
Yes.
So I lasted like 10, 15 minutes with I was talking to Jake Kroger, Comedy Film Bureau.
Yeah.
Comedy Film Bureau.
He was just Comedy Bureau.
Just Comedy Bureau.
You mean tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
just saw him too. Yeah.
Right. So I was talking to him. It was lovely. And then I went and I talked to somebody else, and for some reason hit a wall socially, could not talk to anybody, came back and had to say to Jake, I got to work on my set. And he was like, oh, of course. And then he goes away, and I was like, I don't want to work on my set. I just want to not do anything. And but I worked on my set because I did listen to about an hour and a half of old sets on my phone because my phone's been freezing up, and I think it's because I have sets from 2016. And
I go back further than that.
Oh, I deleted a bunch. I listened to them, tried to find if there was anything in them that I could use going forward.
Yeah.
Kept it, deleted it, and I'm up to 2017. End of 2017.
Okay.
Too. So you got to love that. I'm doing Uncab in a week, and that'll be good.
Do you have a new story?
Nope. Not offhand. I think I do. I probably do.
I don't know what I need.
Because it's a storytelling thing, right? Or,
yes.
Have you ever done that thing that I recommended?
What?
Would to breaking your life into 5-year chunks?
No.
If you break your life into 5-year chunks, and then you look and you're like, did anything happen 0 to 5?
Right.
That was funny. And you could look at all of the things. You could look at what the date was, like what was happening in the world. You can look at, and then just sort of make it more of a, get tighter and tighter in on it.
Yeah.
Until you're like, what was I doing? Did I have a stuffed animal that was weird?
Yeah.
And this type of thing. And then do 6 to 10, 11 to 15,
Yeah.
And you're 100, just like me.
Right.
What? I'm not 100. I think you're 4 days younger than I am.
No, I'm 4 days older than you are.
Fuck.
But you know what? Kellyanne Conway's 2 years younger than us. She was, if you remember being a senior in high school, she was that sophomore class.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What about Suckabee? What about Aunt Coulter?
She's older than us.
Is she?
Yeah.
Somebody said she was 36.
No, she's over 50. She's like in her mid 50s.
Sanders Huckabee. Huckabee
no,
Sanders.
Ann Coulter.
No, Aunt Coulter is what I said.
Oh, I see.
Yes. How old is
she's probably
Sarah
under
Huckabee?
40.
Yeah, I heard she was
not
36.
old. She's 36?
She's kind of a shitty looking 36.
She's a terrible looking 36.
But you know what? It's hard when your soul is leaving your body every time you open your mouth and you decide to just throw the world's immigrants under the bus.
Always scowling.
Someone said she looked like she was going to cry. And I said, she always looks like that.
No,
you can't tell if she's going to cry from rage, from self-pity, or was that pissed?
That's what
it looked like she was
to
going to
me.
burst into tears.
Really?
Yeah,
No.
but not like, but out of rage.
No.
No?
She was just in an unusual position where she was forced to listen to somebody. And the way she conducts her press briefings, she's at a podium, she calls on people and she tells them when to stop talking. It's a very dominating, controlling sort of scene. And she was up on a dais, she didn't have a mic, and she had to listen while someone else said stuff she didn't like, and she couldn't control it. And I think that she was very angry about that.
Right.
I don't think she's used to being in that situation, especially with a woman.
Right.
A woman younger than you telling you things about yourself.
that are true, and then writing an occasional amazing punchline.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm just going to tell you some true things, and then I'm going to make some zingers, and then I'm going to sit down, and hopefully she got her check before she went up.
It's
You think Michelle Wolf
I don't
got
think
her
you
check?
do. It's not a money gig.
It's not a paid gig.
I don't think it's a big. Maybe it's an honorarium or something.
Well,
But it's also. It's weird because she started out just doing sort of middle, right down the middle jokes, and everyone was laughing.
Yeah.
And she could have kept that up and it would have been fine, but there's just a need. Like, I needed to see a fish gutted.
Right. I needed her to do absolutely what she did.
Yes.
And
I wasn't laughing. I was like, yeah. It's like getting, some of the time I was laughing, but a lot of times I was it was like having an itch scratched. And it's like, you got it.
Right. And watching it as a comic and watching it as a regular person is entirely different.
Yes.
And watching it, I mean, that it's irritating almost when other comics watch and they're like, that, you nailed it. And that's what I did like two or three times. I was like, yes. And it was sort of that,
I loved like the thing where she did Trump is so broke. And
and she did the old Johnny Carson thing, or
well, I didn't like the 3 setup jokes she did with it that much. I thought they were kind of reachy, but that's also kind of the joke of it. Those things are always so kind of overwrought. But the last one, which was just he was destroying the Republic, so we had to borrow money from Russia and whatever. That was great. And then this. Then the press, people started getting angrier and angrier. But at the very end, she did it again.
Callback.
And they went, how broke, or Trump's so broke. Like, they responded again. Oh, you're so pissed at her that she can call on you again and you respond?
Yep.
Like, you are acting just like you are with Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Yep.
Like, someone's treating you in a way you don't want and you're still responding like a trained seal.
Yep. It's brutal. It's where are we at, by the way?
You are at
56. That's not bad. It's I want her to be. I want her to get all the things now.
Well, she'll have a show on Netflix, and Christine Nanglish, who was Amy Schumer's not head writer, one of her writers, is the head writer.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, it just seems like it's gonna be really fucking smart. Yeah. I wouldn't want to, if I were her, I wouldn't want to be looking at my Twitter mentions for about a year.
Right. Not even the verified, or maybe not especially.
I mean, I wonder what that's like now. I mean, she's going to get up on stage. Are there just going to, there are people that love it. So they're going to be like, oh, and that's almost too much energy,
Right.
Where you're
it's
just
like rise to
hang
that
on, I want
occasion.
to try out some dick jokes. Calm down.
Right.
And then there's other people are just infuriated.
Which hopefully they won't come to the shows. I don't think they'll come to the shows.
Yeah, hopefully not.
And if they pick it, that should sell more tickets.
Yeah.
And she'll come in through the back.
It's just she's in a different place now in terms of what kind of audience she's going to draw. I wonder what that's like.
Right. I don't
know.
We do not know. We don't even have that. We don't even have the draw of having done an hour on Netflix. Or in this case, sadly, 15 minutes.
But you know who does? Kevin James. I drove by his billboard tonight on the way to the Improv, and I was just like,
nope.
There's
so many people.
There are, and that haven't been heard, and that have different things to say, and it's Dave Chappelle. Okay, that guy is out working material. Like, you hear about him for years working shit out. You might not like every joke he puts on his special, but he's out there working, right? Chris Rock is out there working. Seinfeld out there working.
Yep.
You hear about him always doing spots. And then I haven't heard of Kevin James doing a set ever. Did he do a set once and decide he has an hour? And do you just get to call up Netflix when you're that famous and you get an hour and you get a billboard on Melrose and you and me are just in my garage doing a fucking podcast trying to get 15 minutes?
Yes. Sadly. And you know what I'd like to say about Kevin James?
What?
He's a nice enough guy.
I'm sure he's nice.
I no fucking way. I don't care how nice he is. I need him to be funnier. I need him to be more interesting. I need him to be any number of things for him to get an hour when you're right. I haven't seen him at any of the clubs, not even Comedy and Magic. And that would be the place where he would go.
Sure.
Because that's a place where you can be new or old.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And what you get is a crowd of people who don't know what they're about to, they've come to a comedy club.
Yeah.
And they don't, so they're a normal, they're sort of like
their
a
regular
rural,
audience.
Regular
Yes,
audience.
regular people. Yeah.
So that's where Kevin James, I think, could go and work on stuff. Like, does Leno still do Sundays?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Like, he would do like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard none of that. I haven't seen, I even saw, we talked about this, I saw Adam Sandler in the lab.
Right.
At the Improv.
Sure.
That's a guy who's working on some bits.
How can you work out an hour? How can you not be on stage every fucking night hopping around from club? Whitney Cummings is executive producing a show and she's hopping around from fucking gig to gig like a frog working out shit.
I saw her 3 times last week.
Yeah.
And it was Crazyville. And I haven't heard of him being at the Ice House, which would be another great normal crowd to go play in front of. And if
that's the way he wants to do it. That's fine. I'm just tired of this business where
it's just exhausting at this.
It is
for
exhausting.
For right now, I would just like, and it's not that things aren't going well. Things are fine. I have work.
Who cares? We're not in Syria. We're not being bombed by Israelis.
Yeah. I mean, there's any number of wonderful. We're not being wrestled to the ground. So, but from a standpoint, it is. I'm grateful for what I have, and I will always be grateful that I get to do stand-up comedy.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
But it would be nice to get even an accolade like that.
I know,
or even someone even more mediocre, with even more amazing credits or more abilities, right?
I don't know what that last sentence
that
meant.
sentence had words in it, and I might
We're
be
both
slightly
exhausted.
Might be a little punchy.
We've done an hour.
We've done an hour. Bye.
Adios.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.